What's up guys, Ed Ricker here, and I'm in my home. And behind me is my office where I do a lot of my work, all my video editing, but it's also where I do a lot of those product reviews that you see on YouTube. I also do a bunch of demos, tutorials on the computer about editing and that sort of thing. A lot of you have been asking what kind of cameras I use, what kind of lighting, what kind of microphones, and so instead of trying to reply to everybody, I thought I'd just make a video and show you. And of course, all the products are gonna be listed in the video description. So, first up, lighting. The light that I use primarily is the Octacool 9 by Impact. So it's a pretty wide light, gives you a nice diffused soft light across your face. And actually I'm using a second one right now, so you can see how there's really no really hard shadows because it's so wide. The light kind of falls off the face nicely. And if you take off this diffusion sheet here, you see that it's actually 9 little curly Q fluorescent lights right there. These are CFL bulbs, and they are 32 watts each with a 5300K to 5800K color temperature. So this is kind of like daylight balance. So this is the same type of light color that you would see coming from the sun. It's a very white light. So the cool thing about these lights, and they're pretty cheap, the bulbs are cheap too and they last forever. You can take off this diffusion sheet and then you have a lot brighter light here, or you can take off this reflective umbrella here and you can actually put on this smaller one. So you can have more of a pinpointed light, something a little more focused if that's what you're looking for. So it's a pretty cool, versatile light, and it's actually pretty cheap in comparison to what most production lights cost. Now when I use a stand like this to put the light on, I always also put a 5-pound sandbag. This is also from Impact. And it's gonna kind of hold everything down, give it a lower center of gravity, so it's not quite so easy to topple. So there's our light right there, and it's pointed right at the chair. Now here's how you control how bright it is. So turning each one of these on or off turns off that amount of bulbs inside. So this is 2, this is 2, this is another 1, and this is 2, and this is 2. So all total, there are 9 bulbs being controlled on 5 switches. Now we're gonna add another one toward the end of this video. It's probably gonna be over here, shining forward and to the side to kind of add a little bit of luminance to the left side of my face. But actually I'm gonna use that one right there. So I'm gonna wait. So we're gonna go on to the camera next. This is actually the most important part. This is the camera that I use. This is the Panasonic AG DVX200. Now, I do a lot of video production. I do wedding videos, I do commercials for businesses, I do videos for universities, so I need something pretty versatile. But this really also gets the job done just for a sit-down sort of situation like I've been doing. Also, it shoots in 4K, so that's what's important for me. I also appreciate the fact that it has built-in XLR inputs right into the body of it, so you can use external mics very, very easily, and the lens is just phenomenal. I love it. If you look through some of my playlists, you actually see that I've shot a lot with this camera, a lot at the beach and a lot in different cities and stuff, and it's actually been a really cool experience to use this. I love this camera. Now the tripod I use is this bad boy. This is the Manfrotto 546 GB. Now, a rule of thumb that I use for matching a tripod to a camera is the tripod should be roughly 1/3 the price of the camera. As long as you're not talking a really expensive camera like a Red or something, then you might not find a tripod that's really worth the money at that price. But for something like this is roughly maybe 1/3 to 1/4 the price of the DVX200. So it's pretty easy rule of thumb to match quality with the camera and the tripod that way. So this is a 2-stage tripod with a bubble head and a fluid drag system and a ball level. Also, if I'm planning to go out and do some hiking or whatever, I bring the smaller tripod. This is the Manfrotto 547B. So this is kind of like that one's younger brother. And it's probably about 1/4 as heavy. So you strap this on your back in its bag and you can go hiking and you're not gonna wear yourself out or tear up your shoulder. Now the camera I use when I'm out vlogging or if I'm getting some detail shots is this one. This is the Canon G7X, and that's the beauty of it. It has a flip out screen so you can see yourself when you turn it on, it's very simple to see what you're shooting with. So that right there you see on the screen, this is the Panasonic AG HMC 150. And so that's what I'm shooting this entire tutorial with. This was my old camera before I got the DVX 200. When you saw my travel vlog in California, this was my primary handheld video camera. And then I did shoot the DVX 200 a little bit when we went to San Francisco at the Golden Gate Bridge. Also, I use the GoPro Hero 5 Black for a lot of those car driving shots and action shots and stuff. I love the Hero 5 Black because it has the LCD screen, so you can see what it's seeing. Now that we have our light set up and our camera set up, we have to think about microphones. So depending on the situation, I'll either use a shotgun microphone like the Rode NTG1, which I'm actually recording this on, it's right here, or I'll use a Sennheiser wireless system. For most of the videos that you see, I will end up using the wireless system. It's just a lot easier, and I don't have to worry about being in close proximity to the shotgun mic. So this is the shotgun mic right here, and it's hot, so when you talk into it, you hear much clearer than when you're not talking into it like this. So it's not an omnidirectional mic, it's a unidirectional mic. And it looks like that. But let's open up the Sennheiser kits and see what we have. So here are my audio options if I'm shooting wirelessly. So I have the Sennheiser EW112P G3 systems. Now, as you see, I've indicated this is the A frequency, this is the B frequency. So if you flip over one of these, B, for instance, covers frequency range 626 to 668 megahertz. And then the A's cover 516 to 558 megahertz. So the whole idea here is that if you have more than one system like this, you want to make sure that their frequency systems do not overlap. There's also a G system if you want to get a third set. So if I'm going to be connecting these to my camera, I will use the XLR inputs here, 1/8 inch to XLR, and then here's the lavalier microphones themselves, the ME2s by Sennheiser. But if I'm shooting a video and I cannot connect to the camera, I'll use the H4n zoom. So take for instance the channel update I made last month where I shot the video entirely on a handheld Mavic Pro. This is how I recorded audio from my lapel mics, using the H4n zoom with the XLR inputs here. Then I just matched up the audio to the video in editing. Okay, so we have our battery pack receiver connected and turned on, and looks like we're getting levels. So here are pretty good sound levels. We're not peaking, we're not going into the red, but one channel is louder than the other, so we can isolate one channel or the other depending on which one we'd like to use. If a person's talking too loud, or if maybe I got really loud for one moment, I can always isolate the quieter track just for that particular clip. Then here's why I love the DVX 200. Here's the audio door, and so we're in input line 1 mic, channel select, input 1, and then manual levels here, and then here's our level dial. Our right channel's turned down just a little bit more than our left channel. Also, I've got the pack here on my hip with the cord tucked in behind so we don't have a bunch of slack, and the cord runs up underneath my shirt and comes out right here, pointed toward my mouth here on the collar. And I have a V-neck, so it fits really nicely. I also use headphones to monitor my audio, so I'll put these on when I first turn on the microphones and the lavalier and stuff, just to listen to make sure that it sounds good. These are the Audio Technica ATH M30s. They sound really good, they're over the ear, they're closed back, so in terms of production, that's actually a really good thing, so that people don't hear sound bleeding out of your headphones, and they're really crisp sounding too. Now, if I'm videoing someone else or shooting multiple people, then sometimes it's better to have just a shotgun mic on a mic stand like this, slightly out of camera. And that way you can hear their voice that way, and you can film people, and it's not quite so intrusive as stuffing up a microphone underneath their shirt. So we're looking pretty good so far. I'm getting just some fine tuning with the focus and the exposure, because we are a little bright. There we go. Now this isn't too bad. I mean, we have this light right here on just to show a little bit of busyness in the background. We have the light above here on, kind of illuminating above the fireplace. My face is pretty well exposed, and if you turn on my camera here, you see that that light is at about a 1 o'clock angle or so. I could even move it a little further this way if I wanted to. And this is what the image looks like on the camera. So you see I have focus peaking, And I also have zebra stripes on, which are different settings on the camera just to help gain exposure and focus. By the way, just a little tidbit, this is the light that I used with the camera just a few minutes ago. So I'm gonna move this light over there. There we go. So I have the second light here, and it's just kind of shining, hitting the side and the back of my head when I'm sitting here. All right, so that works out pretty well. I'm actually kind of illuminated on the left side now, and I'm popping off the background just a little bit as opposed to blending in a little more because it was all the same type of exposure. Now, some people use ring lights, and that really illuminates the face in a different sort of way. I don't own a ring light, and I don't really feel like I need one. I kind of prefer these types of lights. Plus, I can use these lights in a lot of different scenarios and situations. Now, when I first turned on the camera, this is what it looked like. I look like I have jaundice, very, very yellow. So what I did was white balance, and I used something white in the room. And so I actually used a piece of printer paper, and I hold it out in front of the screen like this. And then I press the white balance function, and it sets the white balance to the paper, which is white. And now it looks normal. I don't look like I have jaundice anymore, which is a great thing. By the way, a lot of people don't know what this is, and I don't blame them. This is actually my condenser microphone for singing and for voiceovers, or for maybe acoustic guitar recording. And this is actually a homemade reflection filter made from some acoustic foam that I bought on Amazon and some paint can stands. This is the same foam that I use on my wall there, and that's also part of the reason why there's a notch cut out, because I had to use part of that to fill in the extra space on both sides here. So what a reflection filter is supposed to do is kind of stop your voice bouncing off the walls a little bit from entering the mic. So if I were to be speaking this way, the microphone is kind of being shielded from any voice reverberation from the other side of the room. That's the theory. Now, it took about $5, maybe $10 to make this filter, so it's not like it's a big deal. Now, I'll put the link to the do-it-yourself video that I found on how to make this in the video description, so you guys can also maybe check it out. By the way, the condenser microphone here is the Audio-Technica 4040, and it's how I do all my voice recording, my voiceovers, my singing, my guitar playing for acoustic guitar, and all that stuff. There's no refuting the fact that DSLRs really are awesome for, movie production and creative work like that. But if you're trying to find an all-around good video camera, I personally love camcorders. So the AG DVX200 that I'm shooting this particular video on, as well as the HMC 150 I shot with earlier, are just awesome cameras for my type of production. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like the video, subscribe. Also, all these product links are in the video description, so if you want to learn more about the products I use, or you might think about maybe getting some for your own YouTube production, check them out. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care.